This is Larry Nassar, who is facing multiple sexual abuse charges in Michigan.
What have you done? Larry, you did this to yourself, and you did this to us.
As the former team doctor for USA Gymnastics, Nassar was accused of abusing hundreds of gymnasts, many of whom were Olympians, under the guise of medical treatment. Authorities reported that Nassar manipulated the athletes, making them believe he was a trusted friend and advisor.
To protect your athletes, you have to let them know that we care. You have to not let them know, but let them feel it. Let them understand it. Let them breathe it.
During questioning, Nassar claimed that he was the victim.
Nassar sat down with police and told them he was a victim.
That's my self-torture, I guess you could say. That. Yes, she was victimized. Yes, I was victimized to myself.
He then blamed the young women for not speaking up sooner.
I don't get it. Why didn't she say something if she was feeling violated in any way, shape, and form? There was no communication.
Okay.
Nassar also defended his medical procedures.
If you don't have patient confidence and patient trust, you would have been having my in here how many times?
Right.
Okay, especially when I'm doing this on 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, okay, with their parents there. But I'm obviously doing a doggone good job explaining things, okay, because what?
Initially, the investigation was mishandled and Nassar was released. However, as more victims came forward, Nassar was once again under scrutiny. Despite trying to defend his actions, claiming victimhood, this time, his efforts were futile.
Get an interaction during an exam.
Right. Well, this is why I'm talking to you about this, because this young girl and her mother both observed this on more than one occasion during treatment.
If there was arousal, it's. I mean, like it would be because of whatever. I don't know, but I'm not trying to.
I don't know. I don't know.
When you're a guy, sometimes you get it.
Nassar eventually pleaded guilty to numerous charges of criminal conduct. At his sentencing, over 150 victims delivered powerful emotional statements.
Those treatments were pathetically veiled abuse.
To me, it was like a night.
One victim described how Nassar's actions tore her family apart.
You used my body for 6 years for your own gratification. That is unforgivable. You convinced my parents that I was a liar. My father and I did our best to patch up our tattered relationship before he committed suicide in 2016.
A grieving mother also spoke on behalf of her late daughter.
In 2009, she took her own life because she couldn't deal with the pain anymore.
The courtroom atmosphere intensified when a victim's father asked to address Nassar directly.
Have a chance to say something.
Go ahead, sir.
You saw
in a courtroom, we don't use profanity, but if you have some words that you would like to say, I would like to give you the opportunity to say them.
I would ask you to, as part of this sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon.
I have a feeling.
Would you do that?
That is not how our. No, sir, I can't.
Would you give me 1 minute?
You know that I can't do that. That's not how.
After his request was denied, he attempted to take matters into his own hands.
Our legal system.
Well, I'm gonna have to
Stay down.
Court officers restrained and arrested him.
What if this happened to you guys?
Once calm was restored, Judge Rosemarie Aquilina offered sharp words to Nassar.
Because, sir, you do not deserve to walk outside of a prison ever again. It is my honor and privilege to sentence you.
Finally, Nassar learned his fate. He was sentenced to 175 years in prison.
I'm giving you 175 years, which is 2,100 months.
Though the Larry Nassar case became one of the worst abuse scandals in sports history, what happens when a grieving father takes a different path to seek justice? Similar to Michael Madison's trial, where the defendant faced multiple murder charges in Ohio. Madison, according to reports, kidnapped and killed 3 women in 2013, leaving their bodies in plastic bags near his East Cleveland home. Police later discovered decomposed human remains in his apartment. Madison was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, facing a possible death sentence. The defense argued the killings were unplanned, occurring in moments of anger.
Is an equal plausible explanation that each one of these individuals was killed with a sudden eruption of violence.
But the prosecution maintained that Madison's crimes were deliberate and premeditated.
To avoid detection from his crimes, he tied 2 of the victims up with duct tape, placing their legs on each side of their head and bending the body in half.
Madison was eventually convicted, bringing tears of joy to the victims' families. At the sentencing, Van Terry, father of one of the victims, faced Madison. Terry lunged at Madison in a sudden outburst. Terry was restrained and escorted from the courtroom, facing no additional charges. Later, Judge Nancy McDonald spoke, condemning Madison's actions as pure inhumanity.
Struck by the sheer inhumanity of what one human being could do to not one, but 3 human beings.
Madison was ultimately sentenced to death.
Accordingly, the sentence of death is imposed upon the defendant, Michael Madison, on counts 1, 4, and 7.